brand that too often denies love and dignity to those like Sam, like me, like many of us, like many of you, who are simply seeking love that affirms life, love that affirms hope, love that affirms who we are. And who are we? We're trans. That's simple.
And LGBTQ plus people continue to be targeted because of who we are. Together in our mourning for Sam and Tahari, we must lift each other up. And from all of us, our New Pride Agenda, from P-Flag, from everybody gathered here today, I close out with this direct affirmation. To the TGNC community, and to all LGBTQ New Yorkers, you are seen, you are loved, and you matter. Loved, and you matter. And we will continue to fight tirelessly to uphold your rights, fight for dignity, fight for safety, and fight for our freedom. When I say trans lives, we say matter. Trans lives matter. Trans lives matter. Trans lives matter.
These are the types of things that I have.
Me too. So right now,
my name is Key Williams. I'm the interim executive director of the New Pride Agenda.
Can you tell me a little bit about the New Pride Agenda and why it is so important, especially now?
Yeah, the New Pride Agenda is a statewide advocacy and education organization. We focus on the LGBTQ community across New York State, advocating for the rights and racial justice, health justice, economic justice of LGBTQ community members, particularly those that live at the margins.
Can you tell me a little bit about your reaction and the community's reaction to Sam Nordquist's murder and about this event?
Yeah, the murder and passing of Sam Nordquist is a heartbreaking and tragic event that has happened here in New York, that has happened here at what we consider the home of Stonewall, right? The home of the modern LGBTQ civil rights movement. And it's not just the passing of Sam, but it's the passing of Sam in this current political environment of hatred, of violence, directly, targeted towards LGBTQ community members, targeted towards TGNC community members specifically. And so we thought it would be important for us as a community here in New York to convene a space to ensure that community members have a safe space to gather, to reflect, to mourn, to be grounded in remembrance for Sam Nordquist, who is a 24-year-old Minnesotan who was in upstate New York and who was found tragically murdered after missing for weeks. And for us, not only is it unacceptable, but it gives us cause for concern on several different levels. And so it's important for us to have community be present and be able to have a safe space to gather together in remembrance.
Do you have any comment on the reaction to the general public's reception of this death and the response by law enforcement so far?
Yeah, I think the general public has responded in the ways in which any human being will respond to such a tragic incident, right? Which is with shock, and with rage, and with heartbreak and devastation. And I think that is only rightful. It doesn't matter how somebody identifies, it doesn't matter how old they are, it doesn't matter where they come from. The loss of a human life is the loss of a human life. For Sam Nordquist's murder specifically, though, it is very depraved. And we even have heard from law enforcement officials directly that his murder is one of the worst cases that they've even seen. So what does that mean historically when, a district attorney, county law enforcement officials, are saying even to their own accord that this is the most depraved, tragic murder that they've done, or that they witnessed, right? And so, as a community, I think obviously it gives us concern, but it's also things that TGNC community members have been talking about for months, and part of our concerns of the safety and the wellness and the well-being of TGNC community members, not just in this city, not just in this state, but in this country, and how important that it is. And for us, you know, we are aware that law enforcement officials have said that they do not believe this rises to the call of a hate crime. For us, that raises deep concern. It does not matter if someone identifies as LGBTQ or not, or the relationship to somebody. The ways in which Sam was murdered, the ways in which that Sam was tortured for weeks, for months, for us, gives deep concern. And so we ask law enforcement to really consider what they're saying and what they're considering in the case of Sam Nordquist, and in the case of any transgender, gender non-conforming person that experiences violence in this state.
Just put one hand. Why? Because the next generation of queer and trans youth are depending on us. They're depending on us to show up, to not comply, to not put our tail between our legs. So may we continue to take care of one another, because community, at the end of the day, we're all we've got. My heart and my condolences are with Sam and Tahiri's families and their loved ones. Justice for Sam Nordquist, justice for Tahiri Boone. Thank you.
Sam and Tahiri should still be here today, but instead of safety and dignity, trans people are met with violence and indifference. We refuse to accept a world where trans lives are seen as disposable. We refuse to be silent as our community suffers. So today we mourn, but we also demand action. We demand accountability. We demand a future where our lives are not just treated as political debates, but as what they are, because our lives are precious, our lives are worthy. You still show up. You show up and create space for healing, to ensure